know my mother, she looked at him and she hugged him and then she started to cry and she left the room. She said, well, I looked into his eyes and I saw God.
When we talk of an icon, Muhammad Ali is the first name that comes to mind. His legacy in the boxing world is unparalleled, revolutionizing the sport and leaving an indelible mark on its history. Though celebrated as a true icon in the ring, his private life continues to captivate and intrigue. The most tragic chapters of his life are known only to his closest circle, but what are these untold stories? Could there be a secret life that Muhammad Ali has managed to keep hidden from the world? Join us as we unveil how Muhammad Ali's daughter reveals the awful truth about him. Imagine a young boy, full of energy, running through the streets of Louisville, Kentucky. His name was Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr., but the world would one day know him as Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest boxers of all time. But before he became a champion, he was just a kid with big dreams and a heart full of determination. Cassius was born on January 17, 1942, into a working-class family. His father, Cassius Sr., painted billboards and signs, while his mother, Odessa, worked as a domestic helper. The family lived in a small, humble house, and like many black families in the South during that time, they faced the harsh realities of segregation and racism. From a young age, Cassius experienced the pain of being treated differently just because of the color of his skin, but rather than let it break his spirit, he used it as fuel to drive him forward. One day, when Cassius was 12 years old, something happened that would change the course of his life forever. His beloved red and white Schwinn bicycle was stolen. Angry and upset, he wanted to find the thief and make them pay. He reported the theft to a police officer named Joe Martin, who was also a boxing coach. When Cassius told Officer Martin that he wanted to whoop the person who stole his bike, Martin saw something in the young boy, an anger that could be channeled into something positive. He suggested that Cassius learn how to box, not to fight on the streets, but to defend himself and build his character. Cassius took Martin's advice and started training at a local boxing gym. He quickly fell in love with the sport. It wasn't just about the physical challenge, it was about discipline, focus, and the thrill of competition. Cassius trained hard, often waking up early to run and staying late at the gym to practice. He was determined to be the best, and his hard work started to pay off. He began winning amateur fights, and his confidence grew with each victory. But life wasn't just about boxing for young Cassius. He was also deeply influenced by his surroundings and the people in his community. He attended Central High School, where he was a decent student, but his true passion was always in the ring. Despite the challenges he faced, he remained positive and outgoing, with a natural charm that made him popular among his peers. He was always full of life, always talking, and always dreaming big. Even at a young age, Cassius was different. He had a big personality and wasn't afraid to speak his mind. He often boasted about how he was going to be the greatest boxer in the world, even though most people around him thought it was just youthful talk. But Cassius believed in himself, and that belief was powerful. It was this self-confidence combined with his relentless work ethic that would eventually propel him to greatness. As Cassius continued to train and compete, he started to make a name for himself in the local boxing scene. He won his first amateur fight in 1954, and from there, his career began to take off. He went on to win 2 National Golden Gloves titles and 2 Amateur Athletic Union AAU championships. But perhaps his most significant achievement during this time came in 1960 when he qualified for the U.S. Olympic boxing team. Cassius's journey to the Olympics was a huge moment, not just for him, but for his family and his entire community. It was a chance to prove that a young black boy from Louisville could rise above the challenges of his environment and compete on the world stage. When he traveled to Rome for the 1960 Olympics, he was ready to show the world what he was made of. But this was just the beginning of his story. The young boy who had once chased after a bicycle thief was now on his way to becoming a global icon. The fire that had been ignited in him by the loss of his bike had grown into a burning desire to be the best. And little did the world know, Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. was about to take his first steps toward becoming Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time. The young man who once dreamed of being the best was now stepping into the ring to prove it. Cassius Clay, who would later become Muhammad Ali, wasn't just another boxer. He was a force of nature. From the moment he began his professional career, it was clear that he was different from anyone else in the sport. After winning a gold medal at the 1960 Olympics in Rome, Ali returned to the United States with a new fire in his heart. He was ready to take on the world. At just 18 years old, he turned professional, and his journey to the top began. Ali's first few fights were a sign of things to come. He was fast, powerful, and smart in the ring, but what really set him apart was his confidence. He would predict the round in which he would knock out his opponent, and more often than not, he was right. People were drawn to his boldness, his charisma, and his undeniable talent. In 1964, Ali faced his biggest challenge yet, Sonny Liston, the heavyweight champion of the world. Liston was known as one of the most fearsome fighters of his time. Many people thought Ali didn't stand a chance, but Ali believed in himself. Before the fight, he famously said, "I'm gonna float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. His hands can't hit what his eyes can't see." When the fight began, Ali danced around the ring, dodging Liston's powerful punches. In the 6th round, Liston didn't come out of his corner, and Ali was declared the winner by technical knockout. At just 22 years old, Ali was the heavyweight champion of the world. He shocked everyone who doubted him and proved that he was more than just talk. He was the best. But becoming the champion was just the beginning of Ali's journey. After the fight, he announced that he had converted to Islam and changed his name from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali. This decision was met with mixed reactions, but Ali stood firm in his beliefs. He was determined to live his life on his terms, no matter what others thought. Over the next few years, Ali defended his title several times, defeating some of the best fighters in the world. His speed and skill in the ring were unmatched, and his confidence only grew with each victory. But in 1967, Ali faced a new kind of challenge, one that didn't involve boxing gloves. The United States was at war in Vietnam, and Ali was drafted to serve in the military. However, Ali refused to go, citing his religious beliefs in opposition to the war. He famously said, "I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong. No Viet Cong ever called me a racial slur." This decision cost him dearly. Ali was stripped of his title, banned from boxing, and faced the possibility of going to prison. For 3.5 years, Ali was kept out of the ring, but he never stopped fighting. He spoke out against the war and for civil rights, becoming a symbol of resistance and courage. When he was finally allowed to return to boxing in 1970, many wondered if he still had what it took to be a champion. Ali answered that question in 1974 when he faced George Foreman in the legendary Rumble in the Jungle fight in Zaire. Foreman was younger, stronger, and the favorite to win, but Ali had a plan. He used a strategy he called the rope-a-dope, leaning against the ropes and letting Foreman tire himself out by throwing punches. In the 8th round, Ali saw his moment. He unleashed a flurry of punches, knocking Foreman out and reclaiming the heavyweight title. Ali's victory in the Rumble in the Jungle cemented his legacy as one of the greatest fighters of all time. He had overcome every obstacle, both in and out of the ring, to reach the top once again. But more than that, Ali had become a symbol of strength, courage, and determination. His boxing career wasn't just about winning titles. It was about standing up for what he believed in and never backing down, no matter the odds. Muhammad Ali wasn't just known for his talent in the boxing ring. He was also known for standing up for what he believed in, even when it made him one of the most controversial figures of his time. His decisions and actions off the ring, especially regarding the Vietnam War, his name change, and his conversion to Islam, sparked debates and made headlines worldwide. In 1964, after winning the heavyweight title, Cassius Clay made a bold and unexpected move. He announced that he had joined the Nation of Islam, a religious and political organization, and changed his name to Muhammad Ali. This was more than just a name change. It was a declaration of his new identity. Ali was rejecting the name he said was given to his ancestors by slave owners. He chose a name that represented his new faith and his commitment to his beliefs. The decision shocked many people. In the 1960s, America was a very different place, and the Nation of Islam was seen as a radical group. For many, Ali's decision to join the nation and change his name was confusing and even frightening. Some people refused to call him by his new name, continuing to refer to him as Cassius Clay, while others questioned his motives and loyalty to his country. But for Ali, this was a matter of personal conviction. He was determined to live his life according to his beliefs, no matter what others thought. Ali didn't just want to be the greatest in the ring. He wanted to be true to himself and his faith. His conversion to Islam and name change were part of his journey to find his own path, even if it meant going against the mainstream. Just 3 years later, Ali faced another major controversy that would change the course of his life and career. In 1967, the United States was deep into the Vietnam War, and Ali was drafted into the military. However, he refused to go, citing his religious beliefs and his opposition to the war. Ali declared himself a conscientious objector, saying, "I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong. No Viet Cong ever called me a racial slur." Ali's refusal to serve in the war was a bold and risky move. It wasn't just about avoiding military service. It was a public stand against a war he believed was wrong. At the time, the Vietnam War was highly controversial, with many Americans divided over the country's involvement. By refusing to fight, Ali placed himself at the center of this national debate. The consequences were severe. Ali was stripped of his heavyweight title, banned from boxing, and faced a 5-year prison sentence for draft evasion. He became a lightning rod for criticism, with many accusing him of being unpatriotic and a coward. But Ali stood firm. He said, "Why should they ask me to put on a uniform and go 10,000 miles from home and drop bombs and bullets on brown people in Vietnam, while so-called Negro people in Louisville are treated like dogs?" Ali's stand against the war was about more than just his personal beliefs. It was a statement against the racism and injustice he saw in America. For him, fighting in Vietnam made no sense when his own people were struggling for their rights at home. Ali was willing to sacrifice everything, his career, his freedom, and even his reputation, to stay true to his principles. As the years went on, public opinion began to shift. More people started to see the war in Vietnam as a mistake, and Ali's stance gained more respect. In 1971, the U.S. Supreme Court overturned his conviction, and he was free to return to boxing. But by then, Ali had already become much more than just a boxer. He was a symbol of resistance and courage. Throughout his life, Ali continued to speak out on issues that mattered to him. Whether it was his faith, his views on race, or his opposition to war, he never backed down from controversy. He was willing to risk everything for what he believed in, and that made him not just a sports icon, but a cultural and political figure as well. Ali's decisions to change his name, convert to Islam, and oppose the Vietnam War were not easy choices, and they came with a heavy price. But they were part of what made him the man he was, a fighter both in and out of the ring. Muhammad Ali wasn't just the greatest boxer of all time. He was a man who stood up for his beliefs, no matter the cost. His legacy is not only about his victories in the ring, but also about his unwavering commitment to his principles, making him a hero to millions around the world. Muhammad Ali was known worldwide for his boxing skills and strong beliefs, but behind the fame and glory was a man who deeply loved his family and cherished his personal life. Born Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. on January 17, 1942, in Louisville, Kentucky, Ali grew up in a close-knit family. His father, Cassius Clay Sr., was a billboard painter, while his mother, Odessa Grady Clay, worked as a housemaid. They weren't wealthy, but they were rich in love and support. Ali was particularly close to his mother, who was a steady source of comfort and guidance in his life. She often told him that he was destined for greatness, and Ali believed her. Ali's personal life was marked by several marriages and children who brought him joy and challenges. He married his first wife, Sanji Roy, in 1964, but their marriage was short-lived, ending in divorce just 2 years later. Ali then married Belinda Boyd, who later changed her name to Khalila Ali after converting to Islam in 1967. Together, they had 4 children: Mariam, Jamila, Rashida, and Muhammad Ali Jr. Khalila played a significant role in Ali's life during a crucial period in his career. She supported him through his battle with the U.S. government over his refusal to be drafted into the Vietnam War, and stood by him as he faced the backlash from the public. However, Ali's growing fame and demanding career took a toll on their marriage, leading to their divorce in 1976. Despite the end of their marriage, Ali remained close to his children, always making time for them even as his career took him around the world. He was known for his playful nature, often making his children laugh with his jokes and antics. But Ali also taught them important life lessons about standing up for what they believed in, just as he did throughout his life. In 1977, Ali married Veronica Portia, a model and actress. They had 2 daughters, Hannah and Layla. Layla, inspired by her father, followed in his footsteps and became a professional boxer, making a name for herself in the sport. Ali was incredibly proud of her achievements, often cheering her on from the sidelines. His support and encouragement were instrumental in Layla's success, and their bond was a testament to the deep love Ali had for his children. But Ali's personal life wasn't just about his relationships with his wives and children. He was also a man of deep faith, which played a central role in his life. His conversion to Islam in the 1960s was a defining moment, shaping not only his public persona, but also his private life. Ali was known to be a devout Muslim, often seen praying and reading the Quran. His faith guided him through the many challenges he faced, providing him with strength and peace. Ali's personal life was also marked by his battle with Parkinson's disease, which he was diagnosed with in 1984. Despite the debilitating effects of the disease, Ali remained positive and continued to inspire others with his courage and resilience. His family played a crucial role in supporting him through his illness, with his wife, Lonnie, whom he married in 1986, becoming his primary caregiver. Lonnie stood by Ali's side through the ups and downs of his health, showing incredible dedication and love. Throughout his life, Ali's home was always filled with laughter, love, and people. He was known for his generosity, often opening his home to friends, family, and even strangers who needed help. Ali believed in giving back, and his acts of kindness were a reflection of the values instilled in him by his parents. Muhammad Ali's personal life was rich and full, defined by his love for his family, his deep faith, and his unwavering commitment to his beliefs. He was more than just a champion in the ring. He was a loving father, a devoted husband, and a man who lived his life with purpose and compassion. Ali's legacy lives on not just in the history books, but in the hearts of those who knew and loved him. In the final years of Muhammad Ali's life, the world saw a man who had given everything to his sport, his beliefs, and his family. Though his body had been weakened by years of fighting in the ring and his battle with Parkinson's disease, his spirit remained as strong as ever. Ali's struggle with Parkinson's began in 1984, just a few years after he retired from boxing. The disease affected his speech and movement, making it difficult for him to do many of the things he once did with ease. Yet, even as his health declined, Ali continued to be a symbol of hope and courage. He appeared at events, met with fans, and shared his message of peace and love with the world. His presence, though quieter than before, still had the power to inspire. One of the most memorable moments from Ali's later years was when he lit the Olympic flame at the 1996 Atlanta Games. As he stood there, his hand shaking from Parkinson's, the world saw the heart of a champion. It was a powerful reminder of the strength and determination that had defined his life. Ali might have been battling a disease, but he was still fighting, still showing the world what it meant to be brave. As the years went by, Ali's public appearances became less frequent. He spent more time at home with his family, enjoying the peace and comfort of their love. His wife, Lonnie, was always by his side, taking care of him and ensuring that he lived his final years with dignity. Ali's children, now grown, visited often, and his home was filled with the laughter of his grandchildren. Even in his quietest moments, Ali's life was rich with the love of those who mattered most to him. On June 3, 2016, Muhammad Ali passed away at the age of 74. His death was felt around the world as millions mourned the loss of a man who had touched so many lives. From presidents to ordinary people, tributes poured in, celebrating Ali's life and legacy. His funeral, held in his hometown of Louisville, Kentucky, was attended by thousands of people. It was a grand farewell for a man who had lived a grand life. The memorial service was a powerful reflection of the many sides of Ali. Leaders from different religions spoke, honoring Ali's commitment to his faith and his dedication to justice. Former President Bill Clinton, comedian Billy Crystal, and journalist Bryant Gumbel gave heartfelt eulogies, each sharing stories that highlighted Ali's humor, kindness, and courage. But it wasn't just famous people who came to pay their respects. People from all walks of life gathered to honor Ali. They lined the streets as his funeral procession made its way through Louisville, holding up signs, chanting his name, and throwing flowers onto the hearse. It was clear that Ali was more than just a sports icon. He was a man who had captured the hearts of people everywhere. Ali's final resting place is in Cave Hill Cemetery in Louisville, where his grave has become a site of pilgrimage. People from around the world visit to pay their respects, leaving flowers, notes, and mementos.